Kia ora, good evening. I've just been sitting here listening to music. I'm getting ready to put some food out for the fox and hedgehogs. And I just wanted to put a message out there to everybody because I've been paying a lot of attention to social media recently because of this whole, defending Russia and trying to protect the king and blah, blah, blah. So I have to keep an eye on things. And I'm watching a lot of panic, and I'm watching a lot of disinformation, and I'm watching a lot of clickbait and fear-mongering and terrified, confused people out there all over the world, angry people, disillusioned people, people that have given up hope, people that have lost faith that it's going to get better. And I just wanted to let everybody know that it's always darkest before the dawn. And what you need to understand, the way all of this is working, is that the reason why everything is so bad in the world at the moment is because it's God highlighting all the places and all the things and all the people that need to change. And then it's up to us to make that change happen. What people need to understand is that none of these people in leadership have any real power. They rule by fear. That's what tyranny is. That's what dictatorship is. A good leader doesn't need to threaten people in order to gain a following. A strong leader should be able to rule by reputation alone, because they've proven themselves to the people. Their actions speak louder than their words. They're not just people who say what you want to hear. They're people who do what you want to do, or they get done what you need done. And that's none of the leaders that we have at the moment. But the thing is, for example, this time last year, nobody had any clue that the man who was about to become Prime Minister would be a coke sniffing rent boy employer, shall we say, who is probably the most despised world leader in the world at the moment. He's literally like a Despicable Me archetypal cartoon baddie. But the thing is, the dark side, they know exactly how to get to you. They know exactly how to get into your head. The devil has just as much power as Jesus. Satan has just as much power as God. They are the polar opposites of each other, but why they use those powers is all based on how we perceive our interactions with them. Jesus tempts us to step into the light, to live a good, virtuous life, to follow our heart, to trust our intuition, to try and learn patience and, kindness and humility and charity and all those wonderful things, patience and moderation and temperance and all of that, to make us better people, to make us happier people. Because when you live in your virtues, you live such a peaceful life. I'm the least religious reverend in the world, but I'm the most dedicated person of faith you will ever meet, which is why I have this gift that I have, because I'm living proof that you don't have to be genuflexing and doing rituals of going to church every morning and doing confession and all of that in order to be a good servant of God. He's given me the keys to the universe. I'm girl Peter, except where Peter has the keys to the kingdom of heaven, I have the keys to the kingdom of creativity and intuition and time. I have the keys to time. I'm the timekeeper because I got it right. And how did I get it right? It's because I turned away from all the things that were trying to hurt me, all the people that were trying to hurt me, all the things that I was doing that was hurting myself, like bad eating habits and bad thought patterns and, repeating negative cycles and not respecting myself the way I needed to. I was morbidly obese, I had agoraphobia, I lived in anxiety and fear and paranoia and all that because I was living with a man that was constantly telling me how useless I was, how I was ruining his life, how me and his children were ruining his life. And so I ate my feelings. I had a lot of feelings to eat. But when I started going through my ascension and I started letting go of all the things that were holding me back, stabbing me in the back, not positive for the growth, because I was starting to work on myself. When I let all of that go, it brought me peace. And you're never, ever going to live a life where you're happy. Like the slugs and snails and worms only come out after it's been raining. But without the slugs and snails and worms, we wouldn't have fresh, fertile soil. They break everything down. So, the earth that we walk on is all because of them. Because everything that dies, they chew it up and spit it out and turn it into the ground that we walk on, that then feeds the plants and grows the crops that we need to eat. So even the yucky, slimy things in our life are absolutely necessary, because the only way you're ever going to see the truth of what you're around is if you experience the storm. And we're in a storm. Like the parable of Jesus in the storm, when his disciples were in the boat and the storm was kicking off and they were panicking, thinking they were going to get thrown overboard and Jesus was sleeping. And he was like, "Oh, ye of little faith." And I'm not saying, "Oh, ye of little faith." What I'm saying is, there's a reason why this is happening. And it's so that we can all learn from it, so that we can see what needs to change and do something about it, so we can see the people that need to be removed. We're the ones that have to do something about it. There are laws in place that allow us to get rid of our presidents and our prime ministers. They can't stop us from demanding elections. Even with the petitions that everyone signed to demand that there's a general election, the Prime Minister has no legal right to stop an election. It's not up to him to decide. It's up to the MPs and the voters to do a vote of no confidence. And then when the MPs do the vote of no confidence, when they take into account the voters in their constituency, then it's a general election. But the Prime Minister can't actually stop an election. He has no legal right. You can look up the law, how to call for a general election. The Prime Minister has nothing to do with it. It's all to do with the members of Parliament. And then once they do a vote of no confidence, they take it to the King and say, "We've all decided, or enough of us have decided, and the people have spoken, and we need to call it a general election." And the King says, "Okay." Because he has to respect the rule of law when it comes to elections. The King has no control over the elections. He only has control over like the Prime Minister and the ruling party, because they speak on his behalf. You know, they like the Prime Minister is the go-between between the people and the king. But this time last year, nobody had any idea that they were about to experience the most tyrannical leader since probably Benito Mussolini or Pol Pot. I mean, I'm telling you now, if he had the opportunity to start stringing people up, he would, because he's hiding a lot. And so he's trying to prove that he is a man of power, he's a man of stature and someone to be feared, but he's doing it in a devious way. But now that everything's been exposed, because I've been working my ass off to put enough into the atmosphere to bring it about, people are seeing the truth. And what they don't realise is that we're on the brink of massive, massive change, and not in a bad way, not in the way people think, not in the way that people think. People are starting to rise up. The cleansing is starting to happen. We are starting to see massive sweeping change in the world where people are suddenly standing up and saying no more. We've had enough. We're done. And so we're going to see people like Bill Gates up in court, and members of the EU and Starmer and all that. They'll be getting arrested, and Elon Musk will absolutely be going to prison. Keir Starmer may go to prison, but it's more than likely that he's going to end up being ostracised and having to live a very reclusive life. But what I'm trying to say is, you have absolutely nothing to fear, because this was the plan all along, and God was trying to prepare us for that in the Bible, in the book of Revelation. And we're at that bit now where he's gathering all the demons and he's getting ready to throw them into the pit. You're going to start seeing all these world leaders go down one by one by one by one by one. When one falls, they all fall, and Elon Musk is falling. And as he falls, he's going to take everybody down with him. Even if they're connected to him or not, it's going to be like a chain of events. Because there's going to be a massive uprising. People are going to start finding the courage to speak up once they realise just how much power they actually have over who controls their country or their business or their company or their union or whatever. And then what's going to happen is people are going to wake up. All I know in regards to when is that people are going to go to bed one night and wake up in the morning, and like these people are going to be suddenly resigned or gone or arrested or vanish off the face of the earth, because various events are starting to happen now where it's going to be impossible for these people to show their faces in public or to continue doing their jobs. They're going to get arrested, they're going to be, sent to court, they're going to go to prison, they're going to die, they're going to become recluses, they're going to go into hiding, they're going to flee, they're going to change their identities, they'll have plastic surgery to change the way they look, they'll wear masks, all sorts of things. But they won't be doing what they're doing currently. Some of them, within the next 12 months, a lot of them won't even be alive anymore. So whereas this time last year nobody knew the trouble that Starmer and Labour's government were going to be for Great Britain and the world, but this time next year people are going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe Bill Gates used to be alive. I can't believe this time last year Bill Clinton was alive. I can't believe this time last year Fauci was want to stay alive. I don't know that they'll execute him, but yeah, Tedros, Zelensky, people will look back this time next year. People will look back at this year, like right now, and be like, "Wow, like the EU doesn't exist anymore. NATO doesn't exist anymore. The UN doesn't exist anymore. The WHO, the WEF, like none of it exists anymore. Climate change is gone. They're not cloud seeding, because what's going to happen is all the people, like it's almost like there's going to be all these new elections. Everybody's going to agree to just like wipe the slate clean in their countries. There's going to be these fair elections with no interference from anyone, and you're going to see new parties arise where it's mums and dads and the people that work on the council and the librarians and, you know, the former veterans and all these people that have seen all this stuff and learned from it and thought, God, I can do so much better. And so then they come up with a plan, and then next thing you know, that plan's gaining support, and then they're getting funding, and they have these elections, and because they're fair and honest, and, you know, their locals trust them, and then when the word spreads and stuff like that, if your locals trust you, if your friends and neighbours trust you, and they're prepared to back your reputation and fund your campaign and stuff like that, then it's going to be, like I said, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, not the ones born with silver spoons in their mouths, not the ones that went to Eton, not the ones that, you know, have got expensive law degrees and all that sort of thing. It's not going to be the ones who, you know, pretend to be the average man and really not, or that they are the toffs who pretend to be, you know, hip with the youth and all that sort of thing. It's not going to be like that at all. It's going to be people who are like, bloody hell, we can't have that happen again. The only way we're going to make sure that happens is if someone decent gets into power. And it's like, well, Bob down the road's a baker, and, you know, he's got some pretty good points, and actually he hasn't said a thing that I didn't like when he said, man, if I was Prime Minister, this is what I would do, and he keeps joking about it. So, you know, why don't we talk him into running for MP, and then we'll get the backing behind him, because I know a lot of people in radio or whatever, and next thing you know, he's Prime Minister, because word spread that Bob is the guy that gives all the kids a job and gives his leftovers to the homeless, and, you know, gives discounts to pensioners and takes food to the infirm. And, you know, Bob, he's the guy you want for Prime Minister, the one who cares for his neighbours. If you've got somebody running for Prime Minister who actually cares for their neighbours and looks after their community, then they're the people who are going to have the ability to look after a nation. And that's what you want. You want someone who runs a nation like like they're looking after their neighbourhood. So we're going to see countries where we're going to go back to what it was like when my generation were kids, where boys mowed lawns for pocket money and did milk rounds, and girls babysat. And, you know, it's like all the kids that are having the jobs in the cafes, and because everybody else is off having, you know, working in the factories, and because they're going to, you know, we'll open up the factories again. Like all these countries will start making cars again. We'll start opening the mills again, the mines and all that sort of thing. It's going to be like how it was when, like, the Gen Xers and older were growing up, but without the corruption and government. Because everything that's happening in the world right now with politicians and billionaires and all these, you know, these big bully tycoon CEO billionaires and that are trying to rule the world, they're not going to exist anymore. All these people that lead you to believe that you have to do what they say, they're not going to exist anymore, because we've learned from our mistakes. We've learned what to do and what not to do. We've learned how to handle ourselves now. We've woken up to their games. We've woken up to the propaganda. We've woken up to the bullshit. And there's more of us than there are of them. And you are stronger together as one. But you have to have faith in yourself. You have to believe that you can do it. There isn't a single person on the planet that believed that I was what I said I was, that I could do what I said I could do, that I am what I said I was. I haven't had a single person back me and support me and believe that I'm going to pull off having the future that I said I am. And yet I get up every day and I keep plugging at it because I know what's coming. And I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't know what was coming. And I've been saying it for a long time. We're going to go back to traditional family values. But it's gotten to the point where they've pushed us to breaking point. They've gone too far. They've messed up. And people have had enough. Starmer was the tipping point. And when he falls, they're all going to fall. There will be no more harassing Russia. There will be no more EU. Le Pen will replace Macron. Any governments where there was interference with elections and all that, like there's going to be like like they say, a great reset, but not in the way that they think. And you're already starting to see it happen now. So don't give up. Don't be afraid. Look to the future, not the past. The future is what you make it. And if we all work together and we all stand together, we can build an incredible future. But you've got to have faith and don't be afraid, because they feed on your fear. They feed you fear in the same way that they take the adrenochrome. They feed off it. It's a high for them to know that they have that control over you. So don't break. Don't let them break you. And love yourself. Learn to love yourself. More than anything, learn to love yourself. Because having that kind of power makes you unbreakable. And don't let yourself be anyone else's punching bag. Their issues aren't your problem. So don't take their baggage on as if it's your responsibility to fix them. If they continue to hurt you, if they continue to blame you for their inadequacies or their broken heart or their mistrust or anything like that, they're red flags, and you need to walk away. And it doesn't matter if it's a brother, sister, best friend, lover, work colleague, anything like that. If it's causing you physical pain, if they are jabbing you, if they are sucking you dry, if they're draining you emotionally, you got to get rid of them, because these are the sort of people who hold you back from making a change in the world. When you change your life, you change the life of everybody else around you. And we're going to build nations of master makers, not master manipulators. Our children won't be growing up so screwed up in the head and feeling so confused, because we're going to be running our countries with logic in place, Houses will be affordable. Food won't have pesticides in them. Our soil that our cows and all that graze on will be clean. Our air will be clean. Our sun will shine. Our skies will be blue. We're going to go back to how it was when the over 40s were growing up, but better. Just don't give in to temptation. If it causes you pain, if it gives you that feeling in your gut or that noise in your head, turn your back on it immediately, because that's exactly what's stopping you from living your potential. If it's good for you, it shouldn't hurt. Unless it's love, because love is the most painful emotion. You know, when you love so much it hurts, or when you're hurt because of love, but it is the most powerful emotion. So tend to your heart wisely and only give it to people who appreciate its value, because they're going to hold it and protect it, or because you know they can fix it. But don't be around people who constantly break it. And that includes world leaders and celebrities and friends and family members, not just lovers. So the only way we're going to fix the world is if we fix ourselves first, and that's what I'm here for. And when I get my radio show, and you know, when I start making all the stuff that I'm going to make, and I get out there in the real world, once I get justice in that, I'll be able to help people more in a way that they need it, because people are so afraid at the moment they can't think straight, and you need people like me who are logical and grounded and balanced, who know how to make fair and logical decisions based on reasoning and doubt and compromise and balance and fairness. These are the people who are going to be taking over. You just have to give them all the chance to step up and give them the space to be able to do so freely, while at the same time working together to remove the mould, to remove the parasites that are feeding off our nations, because we let them, and we let it happen. And the only ones who can solve this are the ones who put them there in the first place and or allowed them to stay. But once the poison is gone, once it's all been sucked out, we get to start again and rebuild and start from scratch, and it's going to be amazing. It's going to be unlike anything we've ever known before. So just hang in there, the storm is nearly over. It's nearly over. We're in the eye of it now. And once everything calms down and we assess the damage and recover from the shock and roll our sleeves up and start rebuilding again, especially with the British, make do and mend, and you know, roll your sleeves up, stiff upper lip, carry on sort of thing, then we will rebuild and make our nations better than they've ever been, unlike anything we've ever known, because this time we've learned our lesson that history can never, ever, ever, ever repeat itself, ever. Because this is why it keeps happening, because we didn't learn our lessons from the last few times they started wars and political conflict. We don't learn our lessons, so history keeps repeating itself. But this time they pushed us all too far, and we've woken up and we've learned our lesson, and we are all going to, well, all the wise nations are all going to be making sure that what we just went through over the last 40 years will never ever happen again. And our children will have the lives that they deserve, finally, for the first time ever. Because we won't be shoving them up chimneys and sending them in factories or sending them off to be hurt and damaged. We'll be taking care of them together and making them our priority. Not in a woke way, in a traditional way. And it's the only right way to do it. As if the grown-ups take over running the countries. The mums and dads, the nanas and granddads. The ones who actually care. The ones who care about the future of their children and grandchildren. The ones who run for Parliament or Senate or Council or whatever because they want to make a difference so that, again, what we just went through can never ever happen again. These are the people that you want being your voice. These are the people that you want making changes. And you know, I've got to say, in Great Britain, whoever gets in, and maybe even America as well, it's not going to be any of the parties that are the main parties now. It's like new parties are going to be popping up. You know how Reform came out of nowhere and just took off like a rocket? It's like there's going to be parties in that starting all over the world of just a few people that suddenly get this backing because of their reputations or whatever. And then they just have these massive surges of popularity because they're just normal people. Normal, average, everyday people who are sick and tired of all the nonsense and all the treachery and deceit and greed and evil and lies and deception and corruption. Absolutely had enough of it. So much so that they decide to go into politics to be the one, to be the voice of change in their country. And they'll just take off like rockets. And they'll be with like-minded nations who turn their back on the past and close the door to it, to embrace change in a way that is beneficial for everybody that their nations do business with, including, in their own country. So don't be afraid. I wouldn't be working so hard for you people if I didn't know what was coming on the other side, and my work speaks for itself. So just don't be afraid. Have faith. I've got your back. So, ma'am, there's going to be some street parties. It is coming. Britain's going to be having street parties. We're going to have that bunting up and those Victoria sponge cakes out and those pots of tea and those gins and ice cold beers. The pubs are going to open up again. The restaurants are going to open up again. Hotels and B&Bs and tourism's going to go through the roof because people are going to want to go to the safe nations. Instead of, like people are cancelling holidays to America because it's no longer safe, they'll come to countries like Great Britain and Hungary and France and that because they'll be safer nations. They'll be safe places for people to go. So we'll take the tourists that countries like America are turning away. It's more money for us. So just hang in there a little bit longer. I promise you, Musk is on the way out, Starmer's on the way down. And when Starmer goes, I'm telling you now, it's going to be like change overnight from darkness to light. Like someone's flicked a switch. And you've suddenly gone from not being able to see anything at all to just having this blaring light in your eyes. Like you've taken a sleeping mask off and you have to adjust your eyes a bit because it's such a massive change. Just don't give up. Just keep marching. We're nearly at the finish line. Just don't give up. Just follow the sound of my voice and don't give up. And when I get my radio show and I make my shows and everything, I'll be able to help you more. You'll be able to call in and ask questions, and we can talk about everything. I can walk you through it like I'm walking you through it now. Okay, so I'm going to brush my teeth and, I'm going to have a hot drink. Might have another cocoa. And then I'm going to brush my teeth and I'm going to listen to some music. But I just want you all to know that it's okay to let go. Let go and let God. Just let go. Just let go of the cliff. Just let go. Just release it all. Because they're not going to hurt us. They're not going to hurt you. They can't hurt you. I've got your back. I'm not going to let them hurt you. God is not going to let them hurt you. They can try as much as they like. But when it's not your time, it's not your time. And with me in charge, it's not your time. Just follow the sound of my voice. And listen to your heart, not your head. Never ever listen to the voices in your head, especially if they come from the mouths of other people talking in your ear. That's no different to someone putting a vaccine in your brain. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart when it's calling for you. Listen to your heart. That's a lovely song. I forgot about that song. Anyway, so I'm going to go now. I'm going to put food out for my aminals. And I'm going to get you through this. So just keep listening to the sound of my voice. Hold your head up. Turn to the sun. It's a new dawn every day. Every day is a brand new beginning. Every dawn is a new beginning. So look to the sun. It's only on the other side of the moon. I'll speak to you later. Ka kite anō.